Welcome back to the program. Many thanks for staying with us on Newsnight. We carry on with our discussion live from the home of the Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Justin Muturi. And I'm seeing a lot of your feedback. Keep sending it in. Hashtag is Newsnight, SMS line 22422. Nyamogo Gogni is asking this evening, kindly ask the Speaker this. What kind of relationship would you like to see amongst the three arms of government in case you're elected as president? Dr. Emeje Mo is asking, in 2018, Speaker Muturi complained about the courts declaring some laws passed by Parliament as unconstitutional. Can he guarantee the independence of the judiciary if he were to become our president? Samuel Sheshi says, it's a privilege enough to have served as the head of a government arm, for example, the legislator. Does it mean the former Chief Justice should also vie for the presidency in 2022? Very interesting. And Bulenso is asking this. I'll take this as the last one. There are too many to count. Honorable Muturi, what would you give as your biggest achievement in ensuring that corruption has been curtailed through the role of Parliament to oversight the executive? Kindly give specific examples. And I want to begin with that question from a viewer this evening.
Fortunately, that the Parliament works it works through committees, as I explained earlier on, and the reports that come from committees are the ones that form the basis of any action to be taken by the executive. Once we have made our recommendations, we let it to be dealt with by the executive. But I have created, through my own initiative, brought in some little bit of innovation. I created a committee on implementation, not to take off from what the government executive is supposed to do, but where the executive makes commitments, especially through in writing or even through the hands and on record officially. I introduced that committee on implementation specifically to make sure that you hold that particular function from the executive accountable. And in the event that they don't, then the committee is at liberty to bring in a motion of censure or of impeachment of that whoever kind of executive. These are the ways, just trying to look for innovative ways of ensuring that what Parliament decides, Parliaments will get a lot of, we get a lot of petitions, people complaining about this from the executive and the other, but, we can only do this much. We recommend, in fact, the petition method is a very interesting one because you're supposed to give a report to the petitioner. But I've said, no, that's not good enough. The people petitioning Parliament because they have served and at the hands of the executive, we really also, as Parliament, need to show them that we are not just there to give them reports. Where do they take the reports? Mm-hmm. So, and unfortunately, this is what the Constitution did not provide a mechanism. We have tried in a small way without appearing to impinge on the functions of the executive, trying to hold them to account. And that's why you see them, whenever the Committee on Implementation has taken up a matter, you will see a lot of work being done here and there. But you see, once we have given our report to the EACC, we will make recommendations, EACC to do this, to further investigate the matter. DCI, the DPP, if you remember, and I've cautioned Parliament, the DPP in the execution of its functions is not under the control or direction of anybody, any person, body or authority, including Parliament. So that's why I've always cautioned committees that please make your recommendations to the EACC or the DCI so that they can then investigate where there are criminal allegations.
Okay.
Yes.
And you have spoken at length on the war on corruption this evening, through the role of Parliament. But you speak of fighting corruption, Honorable Speaker, and yet your critics keep pulling out your past.
Yes.
They state that you don't have a clean record, you did not have a clean record as magistrate, and that you left the judiciary under a cloud of controversy.
Thank you very much, Maura, for this opportunity so that I can say that...
I'm sure you've seen the newspaper clippings that are circulating
of course,
on the same.
And I'm sure they are coming up because of what I've been doing. in the recent days.
Okay.
That's why they are coming up. But I think it is good. Let me set the record straight.
Because you were accused of taking a 1 million shilling bribe. Talk to us about that.
Let me explain, Maura. An allegation was made against me. To my great shock and consternation. And when somebody took me and saying that I have taken, no, not taken, it was said that I demanded. For a 1 million shilling bribe. Yes. And so I asked, why would I be doing that? Then it was saying that there was a matter that I was doing, at which somebody was accused of having taken away or, cheated and made a claim from NHIF of 147,000 Kenya shillings. So I said, oh, so what he stole was 147, but he's saying that I'm demanding from him 1 million shillings. Even when the fellows who were investigating the matter came to me, I laughed it off. Fortunately, the matter, because I came to discover what was happening. What was happening? There had been, remember, I had come from Machakos, and I was given a house at Upper Hill. While in that house in Upper Hill, some people, and allow me not to mention their names. You don't need to. Yeah, but they were my seniors. They had a way of applying for houses from the then head of state. But what I later discovered is they applied using their names, their two names were two, and then they put my name there as one of the people who was applying to be allocated that house. That house today is a place called the Visa Place on Upper Hill, the Borders Public Service Club. Now, I did not know about this until another senior, one of the judges actually, senior judges, came to me, told me that he wanted to show me how we can apply to get that house. I told him I have no way, I don't know. I just come from Machakos. How would I know? How do I access even the head of state at my level at that time? So he told me he was going to do an application, which he did, and he brought me to sign. He went with the application. After about 2 weeks, he came back complaining. He was actually a judge of appeal at that time. He came complaining to me that, why did you cheat me? That you don't know how to apply for a plot. I said, what do you mean? He said, but you have already been allocated the plot. I said, who? How? I said, no, they can't. That must be a miracle. I cannot. He told me you have been allocated that plot, yourself and those other two people. So I said, how? It is when I confronted those people that all my problems began. And they went and I remember one of them, I told them, I have no regard for thieves no matter what their station in life is. And there my problems began. So you say that it is that group that you don't want to mention this evening? I think it will not be, yes. In fact, one of them is deceased. Engineered that charge against you? Yes. One of them is deceased even. It was such a harrowing experience for me because when the matter went to court, somebody came and been coached properly to come. He came with a diary. Those days, there were no mobile phones. So he came with a diary showing on this date he met me. I went to his office, and then another day his secretary said I made a call, and they were all recorded. So it was meant to look very cogent. So I said, which dates are these? You say, I called you. It was not, one day it was said I called, another day I went. I said, it's very interesting. So fortunately, because all this was all makeup, I came with my passport. And I gave it to the court. Please just check. I'm saying to have gone and to have also made a call on this day and then gone on this. Would you be surprised? The days they were saying that I went to them, and they came with a diary to show that it's not something committed to memory. It is recorded the days.
What was happening on those days as per your passport? You were...
I was out of the country. They saw the dates when my passport was stamped when I left Jomo Kenyatta, when I landed in Heathrow, when I left Heathrow going to Singapore, Changi, when I left Heathrow, because it was we were on a long standard tour.
Okay.
Into Malaysia, back to England, and that's why the case was dismissed. In fact, the magistrate who was trying a saint described that this is a case built, it's like a house built on quicksand. How can you say that somebody was, and you produce a record,
okay,
and you say he came to see you when the man was out of the country?
We'll take your word on it because we were not there. You were the one who was...
You know, the records are there.
Okay.
It was dismissed at no case to answer.
I know you were acquitted. Why were you not reinstated?
I was reinstated, but because I was also so annoyed. This was 1997. I decided to go. In fact, I decided to go to politics.
So you resigned?
Yes, in protest.
The reports out there is that you are not reinstated. You resigned in protest? I
resigned in protest. The then Attorney General even purported to appeal. But I said, go and appeal. He later withdrew the appeal. When he realized, in fact, when the matter went to the High Court, it was again rejected. He was trying to appeal now to the Court of Appeal. By that time, I was a member of Parliament. I had already left the judiciary. Yes.
Don't you see how your critics could easily say that you did not resign, that you were not reinstated because you left immediately? Was that not a thought?
No.
In those days?
Even when I was remember, after being acquitted, you are in, the automatic thing was reinstatement. I said, why am I going to back to work here? And these people are still there. Am I not good setting myself up to be now fixed even harder? And I said, in any event, I had been participating in a lot of campaigns. In fact, I do recall that at one point I had been asked whether I would participate in the 1992 campaigns. Then they brought me photographs. I was campaigning for a cousin of mine in the village. So
it was the natural next move for you.
So I said, well, since in any event the voters there were eager to have even for me to run, where did I go? Why am I going to stay here?
Okay.
Where I'm going to be humiliated in the manner that I felt humiliated. I said, I can't stand it.
So why do you think those...
But I've since forgiven those who are behind that thing.
Yes. And I want to take this discussion forward, but why do you think those clips are popping up now?
Because, obviously, Maura, because I have announced and I have been saying very loudly that we must be accountable. I have said we must be people of integrity. We must be people who obey orders.
Court orders?
Or orders. Not necessarily. Even in Parliament, we also issue orders. Yeah? I mean, look.
So is that your assessment of the country today, that we are a people that are not accountable? We are a people that are not orderly? Is that how you view Kenya today?
I think that we have really degenerated into that. We need to go back to a value system. It's unfortunate that we have it can be amended, Article 10, devoted to values, national values and principles of governance, and a whole Chapter 6, but we really don't seem to be making much of it. Yeah.
Why do you think this is so? Because some would heap the blame fully on the leadership of this country, which is the executive, the legislative that you lead, and the judiciary.
Well, I would say that is true. And that's why I'm saying we need to go back and begin asking ourselves, where did the rain start beating us? Yeah. We really must go back to our morals. Do a thorough soul searching. Because I think this country is great. We have so many ideas that have come up. which can take this country very far. But do we have the moral fiber to, to drive them for the benefit of the majority?
Is this a concern you've always had, or it's a new concern?
That has been my concern for the longest time.
And yet you've been silent on it. Now is when we are really hearing you going public about it.
Maura.
Like Saul on the road to Damascus.
Everything has its own. No. That's a bad comparison.
Okay, give me a better one.
I'm saying this for the country. But let me tell you, these are things that I honestly and firmly believe in. That for us to move, look, the president has given us the big four. But he cannot be the one. He can't be the one to go and ensure that, please, what are you doing about agriculture? What are you doing about health? What are you doing about manufacturing? He has a team. That team, is it working? If it is, do we have actually, because my view is that we should actually begin now doing a value for money audit in everything that we do. Are we investing in the right places? Is what we put in, does it give us what we expect? We spend so much money on infrastructure, on this, on the other, but are we getting value for it?
You lead a house that should be answering those questions for us.
Unfortunately, I'm not even supposed to ask a question myself as a speaker. I am not supposed to propose any legislation, although quietly, I can tell you, because I'm getting some of these things can be very frustrating. I have used some certain members here and there. I call them, we come and tell them, look, I think we should do this and this and this. If you want, I can help you. You can get the staff to put these things. You own the bill. To try and just right some of the wrongs that I have seen. I cannot, but I'm not supposed to publicly say that it has come from me.
Okay.
Because I'm not allowed.
So that is your attempt to influence what happens in the House unofficially?
Unofficially. And, because you're not always going to get people who are going to agree with you. You may have some idea here. And remember, our Constitution allows us to robustly engage the public also, and all manner of stakeholders. So they may not necessarily agree with you, and you may have some proposals which like I know some which I have proposed, and certain key executive functionaries don't want to hear.
Okay.
And they don't want to hear that, because I know, because I've seen it. I've seen these things I read the reports from the Public Accounts Committee, Public Investments Committee, and I can tell, the reports of the Auditor General, year in, year out. How is it that we are losing close to 30% of budget in procurement? Isn't that something that should concern us? But the reports of those committees are replete with, tales of this happened this way. Surely.
In the remaining minutes that we have, I want us to focus briefly on your presidential agenda, because that's the post you've told us you next want to aspire to, whereas previous speakers retired and went and did other things. You actually want to take it a notch higher. Why do you think you are the best person to take over from President Uhuru Kenyatta? I have a record in the House that I lead. The things that are supposed to make the House better off, I have, in my own ways, tried to introduce them, including remember, small issues, biometric registration of members' attendance. It never used to be there. It never used to be there. Recently, when COVID hit us, we relaxed those things, and suddenly I realized there's something which is not happening. When I reintroduced this about 2 weeks ago, you can see the attendance. It was full. So I'm asking, where are these people? And they're always coming. So, sometimes, you must have a record of wanting to improve things.
And I think the things I'm saying, for instance, if we have invested a lot as a country. We need now to begin asking, when now do we stop doing this and address the issues that will lift up the majority of our people?
Stop doing what specifically?
Some of the mega things that we are doing, infrastructure things, because we must slow them down. Because you don't get the returns immediately. And of course, today, you talk to almost every Kenyan. If you told them the colonial government was bad, they'll say, no, even the current ones, all the ones we have seen have not been good. So we need to begin addressing those bread and butter issues that are of great concern to the majority of Kenyans.
The president still has a year in his term. Would you not be able to pass that advice to him that maybe it's time to slow down? Is that not something you can begin to exercise right now?
We've just done the budget, 2021, 2022. Mm-hmm. All these things have been factored in.
All these mega projects?
All of them have been factored in, yeah. Of course, they have their place. They have their place. Mm-hmm. That we must appreciate. But we need now to begin asking ourselves, did we have to do this at this cost? Is it possible we can do it at different costs? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some of our parastatals. Do we need all these parastatals? Is it not time now as was recommended by the task force on parastatal reforms? Isn't it time now? We match some of them or scrap some of them, which are just drain on the national exchequer.
So if you were to get into office, those are some of the things you would focus on in your, first 100 days?
Absolutely. But particularly those ones. And certain other areas, there are several other areas that we need to really ask ourselves. There's somebody who asked a question about health. We need to address health very, very holistically. From training, engagement, retention, and the whole gamut of our own healthcare delivery systems, if we are to achieve universal healthcare. And we need to invest sufficiently there. When you talk about agriculture, for instance, can we really talk about food security without addressing the question of our over-reliance on rain-fed agriculture? And again, we have seen it. There's so much that needs to be done in the value chain within the agricultural sector.
You almost sound this evening like you're giving the Jubilee administration a C+ at best.
No, that's your assessment.
What are you giving them this evening?
No, let me not. I'm not yet there.
You're not yet there.
I'm not yet there.
Okay, but you have a different plan. Why do you think Kenyans would yet again, and they say all politics is local, troop to Mount Kenya for a presidential candidate? Founding Father Jomo Kenyatta, Mwai Kibaki, Uhuru Kenyatta. You're telling us the next name after that should be Justin Muturi.
Well,
we have over 40 other communities in this country.
Fortunately, our constitution is very good. It provides that Kenya shall be a democratic, multi-party state. Yeah? And then you have Article 38 on political rights. Here, unlike some countries like Malaysia, where the Agong, the king, rotates among the 22 states, there is no provision for rotation of any position. So you just offer yourself. If you have ideas that persuade people, the people should then have no difficulties, regardless of where you come from. How small, how big you may be, that should not be a consideration.
Just offer yourself.
Just offer yourself.
What you're saying. Let me read a tweet here. Ebony Prince says, for Justin Muturi declaring he will vie and actually seriously vying are two different things. This could be positioning for a coalition. Whether it will work, time will tell.
Coalition?
Yes.
With who?
You tell me.
I don't know. I have declared, and I have not declared with others.
Let me name some names then, since you've asked me.
I've declared, and I have not declared with others.
With William Ruto. Possibility?
You know what? Maura, first of all, I think it is not right at this point for me to say who it is that I can work with and who it is I can't work with. If as it come to the point that now, at this early point, I begin looking for people. I mean, now what kind of arrangement would that be? You know, it's admitting weakness.
We are seeing people meeting every day.
It's admitting weakness from the one to go. I don't believe in that. Let's walk this journey.
Okay.
Maura.
If you won't tell us whether you're open to coalitions, which political party?
That is going to come.
You're being very conservative with your revelations this evening for a man who's a speaker.
No, you know, it's because
yes.
I don't want to say that I have this party or I don't have this, you know, but you know, for a fact, I am aware, acutely aware that you know, it's not possible to run as an independent candidate for presidency in this country and hope to influence legislation, because majority of the people who are likely to be in the House will be people from political parties. So take it from me, I will be running on a political party.
What is the one issue that your political party will push for? We hear we've had other candidates, some are pushing for the economy. We know camps are talking about bottom-up approach, others are running on a platform of eradicating corruption. What party, the party that Justin Muturi will pick, what will be its key slogan?
Social justice. It will encompass all those. The moment that we all agree that we must be accountable, we will be, and that, you know, everybody matters. Everybody matters. That person you are talking with at the lowest level matters. We must appreciate each and every part of this country. And therefore, once you have that as your rallying point, you will be addressing all those issues, fixing the economy, not for your own benefit, for the benefit of the country. Fixing runaway corruption, the excesses we find in government procuring, you know, and not just at the national level. Actually, these are things that must cascade even to the county levels, the lowest levels. They must cascade down there. And also try to see whether, as a country, are we able to even preach Utu? This behavior that, you know, Maura, I've been employed to do some job, and I'm working on some file, but unless somebody comes and talks to me, I'm not going to do that which I woke up to go and do. Surely, am I not? Why am I not satisfied with what I'm getting?
As you made the announcement, both for the coronation of spokesperson and even your announcement this weekend, it seems that within the region that you hail from, Mount Kenya, some have not received the steps that you've made positively. We know some have said leaders, the next leader of Mount Kenya region, for example, will be elected. What do you think is happening in Mount Kenya? Because your announcement seems to have caused some jitters. What's the situation on the ground?
I think it's very healthy. That's very healthy, because democracy is all about that, and I take it in my stride. And you've never had me, Maura, I'm sure, you've never had me castigate anybody, because if you hold a different opinion from mine, is that a crime? What crime? But
they have castigated you, and
which is okay.
Your choice.
That is their way. That's their way of doing things. They think castigating is the best way. You know, we need to embrace dialogue, and we don't expect that we will get everybody rallying behind you, Maura. And it is true. It is not the leader of Mount Kenya. It is the leaders of this country who will have to be elected. Forget about, those are, they are referring to the cultural things. Those are cultural things, you know. And if somebody is not happy with that, of course they are at liberty to express themselves however, you know. And I have no beef with them. I allow it because I'm a Democrat. People are at liberty to disagree with me or even disagree with the way I do my things. And, but they should also expect that at some point, I will also express myself and say why I disagree with what they are doing. So it's not, I don't think whether there is any conflict.
Okay, in your view. I want to wrap up with a tweet here. Somebody is asking, kindly ask the Speaker this, as a civil servant, will he resign in February next year?
Who says I'm a civil servant? I think that, let me just educate that person and maybe others who may not know, because that question, somebody asked me that question. The Constitution of Kenya provides that a Speaker of a House of Parliament is one who is qualified to be a member of that House, but not one such. Yeah? Once you are elected as a Speaker, you take 2 oaths. One oath is as Speaker of that House, and the other oath is as a member of that House, as a member of Parliament. Yeah? Now, except the MCAs, whom the Constitution barred from running, unless they resigned, which problem was BBI was trying to cure. Remember, I'm sure you may have read those provisions in the BBI bill. They tried to cure that thing so that MCAs don't have to resign to vie for positions of any other leadership positions. But the members of Parliament don't have to resign to vie to become either governor or a senator, if they are not, or even or vice versa. A senator doesn't have to resign to come and to vie to be member of the National Assembly. We have some who are in the Senate who are now in the National Assembly. The president, for instance, is not required to resign when he is seeking re-election.
And you place the seat of the Speaker in that same category? The
Speaker, as I explained, is a member of Parliament. He's not a civil servant.
So if you will be carrying out your duties until the last possible day before the changeover to the 13th Parliament,
or such time as
you choose, how will that affect how you conduct your business?
It will not affect the way I conduct business, because on the chair of the House, I am supposed to administer the rules, the standing orders, the laws, and the Constitution. No more than that.
Okay.
And guide. Because I can't tell people that from the chair, I want you to support me. No. I can't do that. But once I leave the chair, I walk out.
You put all your cards on the table.
I am at liberty now to go and join the rest of the country and start, canvassing for votes or for support.
We will take that as your last word this evening. Thank you so much for your time and for shedding light on some of the moves that you've recently made. And thank you for your time this evening on Newsnight. Remember, the SMS line is 22422. Hashtag is Newsnight. Of course, these are conversations we'll continue to have as we get closer and closer to the 2022 general election and people step up to the plate. We'll sit down with them to understand their vision, their mission, their track record, and their views on the state of the economy, state of corruption, and so forth. And I know we've not gone through all the questions, too many to simply go through this evening, but those have been the thoughts of the Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi, third in command as per the Constitution. But he says it's not enough. He aspires to a higher position, if you look at it that way, to be the 5th President of the Republic of Kenya, and he has given us some of the reasons why. And we will wrap this discussion up at this moment. Thank you so much for having tuned in wherever you are watching this broadcast from. My name is Wahiga Mwaura, and of course our sign language interpreter today from where I am it has been, my director will help me with that. Okay. Njoki Shege has been our sign language interpreter. It's a bit of a challenge from where I am. The screen isn't too close to me. And thank you to our viewers who've tuned in. This would not have been possible without you. And of course, the whole technical team here at the home of Justin Muturi, plus the team that we've had at the Raw Media Services for helping make all this possible. Have a good night. Remember, we have similar conversations like this again next week right here on Newsnight. Keep it Citizen TV. Stay safe and have a good night. Goodbye.
Observe the protocols.